Absolutely. I adore mind mapping. That is the one thing throughout all the years of things that I've looked at for, you know, self-improvement, creativity, this sort of thing. Yeah, I use mind mapping to organize my day, and I use mind mapping to plan products, to plan ad copy for products, anything. If I was having a party, I would do a mind map and map the party. Yeah. Really? Thank you. I
Yes.
think it's, I'll show you. I mean, I'll show you.
Oh, lovely. I like it.
But it's nice that you look. I mean, I think there's two types of map. That was really just quick, that just to get it out and do it like this. Here's the thing, like the instructions for Insider, you know, for example, there. So I would let's see what else was just yeah, so that's just, you know, I was looking at no, that's not it. So yeah, just different products that I wanted to release, you know, trying to think, you know, a Zoom meeting that I had with somebody. So yeah, these are just kind of quick ones. That's another Zoom meeting, you know, and yeah, just give you an idea of, you know, I could Jen, this is a girl that does the printing for me, so that's just something that I, you know, and then oh, there's so much, you know, if I was to be having a conversation with somebody, you know, I quite often just put their name in the center and different things I want to talk to them about. Or it could be that after we've talking or while we're talking, I'll be mapping so that I can capture and retain that information. And I know that you know about mind mapping too, which is wonderful. So you know the benefits of it. I mean, it's wonderful, because I think it's difficult to really sell the idea to people that don't do it. You know, they just don't really understand what the point is. It's only when you're actually fluid and you do it that you really recognize what a beautiful thing mind mapping is. So useful. I mean, if I was going to just try and sentence or one shot why it's so good, it's just that if you're writing things down in a linear thing, this thing and then something, new piece of information, everything just gets put in a line. It's linear to the way that it comes out. With a mind map, you start with a central idea, and then you bolt something new comes along, and well, that goes here, and that. So everything it's hierarchical. In linearity, everything has a monotone of importance, whereas in mind mapping, it's hierarchical. Then each place is evaluated and positioned and aligned in its correct place. So yeah, it's been so useful.
I think it's how our brain works.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Years ago I did some courses with Tony Buzan, you know, who invented the term, and he's just died, I believe, a year or two ago, I think, sadly. But yeah, I did a show in his house. I did my black art show in his house. This is about 30 years ago, and did a couple of courses, and I just found it was wonderful. And in the course, we had music playing, and there was all exercises to do, and there was like big pictures of things in nature, like coral and flowers, and just the whole idea of things blooming out and you know, branching out like that. It's just so intrinsically natural. You know, it's so organic, and it's in the world around you. And because these pictures were all around us while we were doing all these mapping, and we, you know, really getting used to it, you know, I just came away from that course just thinking in that way and seeing the world in that way. Well, I can answer that in two ways. First of all, I'll talk about a product. I'll answer that in terms of a product to sell. And then I'll talk about it in terms of performance. So initially, is about getting a prototype, and you know, just something that works, something where I can, something to play with, and then through having something to play with, that's when serendipity can visit, and we can, we find something, you know, we discover through doing. So we do some thinking and we do some playing, and then that affects the thinking, and then more playing, and and when I get to a point where I've got the prototype up and running, which is usually quite a lot of tape, a lot of glue, a lot of magnets, and, you know, it's just playing around with something until I get a prototype that I can actually perform, and it can fool somebody. And wow, that's a whole, I found that can take some time. So that can take maybe 3 months to get something up to that point. And that is the level when I could then show that to, say, Murphy's Magic, Patrick at Murphy's Magic, and, you know, as somebody like a wholesaler, and get his opinion about whether that is a marketable idea, whether people would want to buy that. And quite often, you know, he'll see something that, in fact, he always sees something that I hadn't seen. Oh, you need to change this a little bit because he has I've come to learn this, you know, we all have different perspectives on things. And if you're dealing with selling magic worldwide, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of effects to hundreds of thousands, millions of people, you have a view on things about what works, what doesn't work, what people like. And so really, I've learned to really get interested in what he has to say about an effect, and really listen to him. So then I'll go away and I might play with the prototype a little bit more. But at any rate, when it gets to a point where everybody agrees this is a really good trick, people will buy this, then it's a whole different ball game of trying to think, how can I produce 500 of this item? So you're actually creating an assembly line there. So then you really have to, you know, then it's about establishing exactly the right materials that the end product will be made of, and the process of producing them. And you have to work out all the costs and the process, and how viable it is, you know, how long it takes to make, how much, you know, then it's really about economics, time and money, and whether this is worth your while to actually do this, or how you can make it worth your while. And that, I've realized there's a whole art to that, you know. I mean, my latest effect, E-Wave, which is here, which I'll show you in a bit. I'm really proud of it, but I must say I made a slight miscalculation. I didn't realize quite how long it was going to take me to make each one. So I'm not complaining. I love it, and I love the idea that people will be doing this effect, and I am making money off it. I'm just not making quite as much as I thought I would. So, but that's okay. So yeah, and then when you've got the product produced, then there's the video, the trailer. And I mean, I remember conversations I've had with Patrick at Murphy's about, you know, I've said, well, how many do you think we could sell of this? And he said, well, let me tell you, like, you know, it depends on how good the trailer is. So I realized, wow, that's, you know, now one of my sons is a video producer, editor, and he makes all my trailers, and he makes a really good job of it, you know, and he puts a lot of effort into it. And we've, you know, makes really good trailers. And so, and then someone had said, oh, it doesn't matter about the instructions, just it's all about the trailer. Now, that wasn't Patrick. Patrick didn't say that at Murphy's. Just somebody said to me, it doesn't matter about the instructions, because by that time they've bought the trick. It doesn't matter. But then I've come to realize, no, it matters a lot, because the trailer will get people to buy the product. But then when people have the product, then they're going to review it and they're going to talk about it on the Magic Cafe and places like this. And people, you know, and people will have their comments. Now, so what we realized is that the actual instructions are the product. You know, there's the item, but the instructions. So you can't just think, oh, I'm just going to spend half an hour making those instructions. You really got to think about how to give the best value to that product. And I've, you know, so that's something that I've learned. I wanted a peak device that was not electronic, and that I could, if, you know, sometimes you get a peak and you don't get a really good look, or there's something about the handwriting that's not clear, or so I wanted to be able to go back for a second or third time and not just do it with a quick look and that's my chance has gone now. I wanted to be able to have a really good look at it, so to have a justification for looking. So I've got various things, like I'll say, just think back to the moment that you wrote that down, and in that moment, while I'm gesturing, I'm actually, you know, having a really good look, you know. So I wanted to be able to have a look, to be able to stare directly at it for several seconds or more, and without the spectator having any idea that I was seeing. So that was one point that I set myself certain parameters, certain limitations, or certain requirements of the thing, and that was one of them. I wanted to use a stack, like a hollowed stack, but I wanted to be able to look and then flash the bottom of the stack and then see that there's nowhere at any moment, and then look again and flash back. So that was another point. And then I also said to myself that I wanted to be able to peak a larger area than just a small section or half the volume, half the area. So I wanted to be able to peak almost the whole card. So I sort of, it's kind of like in earlier when we were talking about you have a dream and you think, this is what I want to see happen, and so you visualize things. It's similar to that. But this is, I already knew the basic method. The method was going to be a hollowed out stack. The thought of the design was how to have this closing up afterwards gap, call it, that where the gap is larger than the gap is almost the whole area. So yeah, I'd set myself that requirement, and then again, it's like you sort of plant that seed in the subconscious, and just, you know, allow it to sort of gestate and over a period of time. And it was there's a thing called incarnation, where a card appears, a folded card appears in a clip, and it's like a double spring hinge. So it's like a concertinaed hinge. And it was then that I just suddenly, boom, I realized that I could use that mechanism on the peak device. So, and I think this is quite interesting. When I listen to a lot of these quite old self-improvement books, you know, like How to Win Friends and Influence People, Think and Grow Rich, things like this. I mean, I've heard people just ridicule them, but to me, these things were fantastic, beautiful. And that's where I learned this idea of planting a seed and trusting your subconscious to, you know, and programming your beliefs, your belief system to orient you towards what you need. So you've planted this idea in your mind, and being confident that your subconscious will deliver the answers, so that then the idea is that everything you need to succeed is all out there in the world. It's around you. There's opportunities, there's possibilities and opportunities just everywhere. But because of the belief systems that we program ourselves with, we can't see it a lot of the time. We're just blind. But yeah, so when I'm in a good state of mind, that's literally what I'm operating on. I'm trusting my subconscious mind to deliver the information. There it is. There's the answer to that question you were working on. Can you see that okay, Fabian?
Yes, perfect.
Yeah. Would you name one of these symbols for me?
The star.
The star, okay. And would you name another one?
The circle.
Okay, right. So we have the star and the circle, and I'm going to mix them up. And the idea is for you to tell me where the circle is. Now, consciously, you of course have no idea because I mix them behind my back, but subconsciously, intuitively, I feel that you'll be drawn to the correct card, the circle. So is the circle here in position 1 or here in position 2?
I think position 1.
Position 1, okay. And of course, so it is. Right? Now, this time we'll do it with the star, right? I'll mix them up behind the back. And there we go. So the question is the star in my right hand or my left hand?
I think your left hand.
My left hand. And so it is. Right? So let's try one more time by choosing one of the remaining symbols, the square, the wavy lines, or the cross.
The square.
The square. Okay. All right. So I'm going to mix these up. A couple of cuts. And question is the square in position 1, 2, or 3?
I think it's 2.
The square in position 2? Absolutely correct.
Wow.
You're very good at this, Fabian. Yeah. So let's bring in the other 2. So we have the cross and we have the wavy lines. Now, name one of these symbols for me, please.
The wavy lines.
The wavy lines. Okay. Now this is any symbol, any position, or as I like to call it, ASAP. Wavy lines, are they in position 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5?
I think 4.
Wavy lines in position 4. Boom. So let's try this one more time in an interesting way by taking, let's take this one. What symbol would you say I'm holding here?
I think the circle.
The circle. Okay, let's put that there. And what about this one?
The star.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And this one?
The wavy lines.
Wavy lines. All right. Perfect. So what would you say about this one?
The cross.
The cross. Okay. So this last one here, got to be the square. Now, for one of these to be correct, the chances are 1 in 5. We know that. But for all of them to be correct, that's 1 in 120 to 1. 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. And that makes this highly improbable.
Wow, this is fantastic.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm very proud of it. This is the, that's the packaging.
Really nice.
Yeah. And then, yeah. Yeah, I'm really proud of it.
Fantastic. You really fooled me.
Thank you.